Welcome back to Dinar Daily Buzz everyone. Today we are diving into something truly explosive, an update that is not just surprising but genuinely eye-opening for anyone watching the Iraqi dinar. What we are talking about here involves the IQD and quiet movements happening inside Chase Bank right now. These developments could shift the landscape for every investor paying attention. If you have been tracking RV discussions, watching rate rumors roll in, or holding onto your dinar waiting for that long anticipated breakthrough, this video is absolutely for you. What I am about to break down will show you what is bubbling beneath the surface and how you can position yourself strategically as things evolve. So let us get right into it. For many years people have held firmly to the belief that an Iraqi dinar revaluation would eventually come. Some investors bought their dinar decades ago, waiting patiently for that moment when everything finally pays off. Discussions have always been intense, rumors, predictions, insider claims and whispers about massive changes building behind the scenes. Yet even with all the excitement, the official move never seemed to land. But that might be changing, because according to a new insider leak, Chase Bank appears to have begun private VIP currency exchanges quietly with zero public attention, no announcements, no media coverage, just silent internal operations. But for those watching closely, this is massive. When you hear the term VIP exchange, it might sound mysterious, but it simply refers to how banks handle large-scale transactions for major clients. These are usually for individuals or institutions operating on a high financial level where standard branch processing would not work. These operations stay private, partly to protect market stability and partly to avoid drawing unnecessary attention. When banks begin these kinds of movements behind closed doors, it often signals that preparations for larger public transactions have begun. Banks test things privately first, verifying rates, confirming system stability and checking compliance before opening the process to the general public. Think of it as a rehearsal before the full production. For investors, this should be seen as an encouraging development, but it should also be approached with thoughtful caution. Quiet VIP exchanges signal testing, system tuning and forward progress, showing that things are not stuck in the rumor stage anymore. But it does not mean public exchanges will begin tomorrow. There is a sequence, and banks will not move until every system is secure. Even so, for long-term dinar holders, this is exactly the type of behind-the-scenes activity people have been waiting to see. It shows momentum is shifting, and the next logical question becomes, how should you prepare? Investors need a smart strategy. Should you exchange everything on day one? Should you do it in phases? Should you wait to avoid lines, delays, or higher tax exposure? These are critical decisions. One wise approach is to break your exchange into stages. You do not have to rush the moment public windows open. A planned, structured exchange process reduces stress, helps manage taxes, avoids bottlenecks, and protects you against unexpected complications. Speaking of taxes, yes, they will play a role, especially if you experience a major financial gain. That is why it is important to consult a tax professional who understands foreign currency. This is not about avoiding responsibilities, it is about preparing intelligently so you are not blindsided. You should also think about diversification. If all your value sits in IQD, you are completely dependent on a single outcome. Consider spreading gains across real estate, stocks, different currencies, or other stable investments. It is about long-term protection. Privacy is another major factor when things shift financially. Resist the urge to brag or post online. Sudden wealth attracts attention from the wrong people. Keep your financial details between yourself and trusted professionals only. Another important detail about these VIP exchanges is what they reveal regarding liquidity testing. Banks do not simply exchange currency, they stress test their systems. They make sure everything responds correctly when pressure hits. This increases the odds that once public exchange windows open, things run more smoothly. That is why preparation matters. Make sure your accounts are active, your identification is current, and you understand what limits or requirements your bank might have once the public phase begins. Also remember, this is not just a U.S. development. If Chase is conducting quiet internal tests, other banks globally may be coordinating similar operations. Currency shifts ripple across borders, so staying aware of international updates, not just domestic news, is essential. Before any public exchange begins, review your own holdings carefully. Know your denominations, your total amounts, and keep your purchase records organized. This will make your reporting process smoother and more accurate when the time comes. Investors facing a major financial decision often wonder how they should approach the process of converting or exchanging an asset, especially when the situation involves uncertainty, large potential gains, or rapidly changing policies. The instinct for some people is to rush in and exchange everything on the very first day an opportunity becomes available, hoping to beat the crowd or act before something changes. However, reacting too quickly can expose a person to unnecessary complications, technical delays, processing backlogs, or emotional decision-making driven by excitement rather than strategy. An alternative approach is to take the time to plan a structured, staged exchange process. Doing things in phases helps reduce stress, allows you to observe how the system performs, and gives you room to adjust your strategy if something unexpected happens. Many investors find that spacing out an exchange helps them remain organized and prevents the pressure of making large decisions in a single moment. It also allows time to consult professionals, review tax implications as they evolve, monitor liquidity conditions at banks, and understand whether any regulatory updates have taken effect. A calm, thoughtful, well-planned strategy almost always provides more control than impulsive action, ensuring you stay prepared rather than overwhelmed. Taxes, while often overlooked in moments of anticipation, are a major part of any significant financial transaction. Many people underestimate how a sudden gain, even if perfectly legal and legitimate, can affect their tax bracket, reporting requirements, or long-term financial planning. This is why speaking with a qualified tax professional who understands foreign currency matters is essential. A professional can walk you through potential liabilities, reporting deadlines, documentation requirements, and ways to maintain compliance without unnecessary stress. This is not about avoiding what you owe, it is about making sure you enter the process with clear expectations rather than being caught off guard by a bill you did not anticipate. Beyond taxes, investors should think carefully about diversification. If you have placed all your hope, value, or liquidity into a single asset, especially one tied to geopolitical or economic variables outside your control, you place yourself at a higher level of risk. Diversification into real estate, index funds, multiple currencies, or long-term stable investments helps protect your future. Wealth is not just about the amount you hold, it is about how resilient it remains over time. A well-balanced financial environment supports long-term security, reduces volatility, and ensures that you are making decisions from a place of knowledge rather than emotion. Privacy becomes especially important anytime an individual experiences a major financial shift. While it may be tempting to share exciting news with friends, co-workers, or social media followers, doing so can quickly create problems. Sudden or unexpected wealth often draws attention, sometimes from people with good intentions and sometimes from individuals who may want to take advantage of your situation. Public posts can spread far beyond the audience you intended, and once information is out there, it becomes very difficult to control. That is why maintaining a low profile and keeping your personal financial details strictly between yourself and licensed trustworthy professionals is a wise practice. Attorneys, tax advisors, and financial planners are bound by professional confidentiality rules and can guide you without exposing your private information. Additionally, privacy protects your emotional stability. When fewer people know about your financial situation, you face less pressure, fewer unsolicited opinions, and far fewer requests for loans, investments, or gifts. Preserving your privacy enables you to make decisions calmly, review your options carefully, and build long-term plans based on facts rather than external expectations. Quiet preparation is often the strongest shield against unnecessary complications, and maintaining discretion is a responsible part of safeguarding your financial future. Another topic worth understanding is the concept of liquidity testing within financial institutions. When banks prepare for large waves of transactions, whether related to currency conversions, regulatory changes, or system updates, they often run internal tests to ensure their infrastructure can handle high levels of activity. These tests are not guarantees of any specific outcome, rather they allow banks to identify weak points, software issues, bandwidth limitations, and staff readiness before customers arrive in large numbers. By simulating transactions, banks help ensure that real-world operations run more smoothly and predictably. That is why personal preparation matters as well. Ensuring your accounts are active, your identification is valid, and your financial profile is up to date can make the process far easier when real transactions begin. You may also want to ask your bank about daily limits, appointment scheduling, or documentation requirements so you know exactly what to expect. Preparation allows you to enter the process confidently rather than discovering issues at the last moment. Systems work best when both the institution and the individual are already informed and organized. Taking these steps in advance can reduce delays, eliminate uncertainty, and support a smoother overall experience. It is also important to recognize that developments in one country rarely occur in isolation. The global financial system is interconnected, influenced by international policy decisions, central bank coordination, geopolitical stability, and cross-border liquidity flows. If a large U.S. bank such as Chase is performing internal tests or preparing its systems, it is reasonable to assume that financial institutions in other nations may be conducting their own assessments as well. This does not confirm any specific outcome. It simply reflects how globalized the banking world has become. Currency movements, regulatory changes, and financial events often create ripple effects across multiple regions. Staying informed about international updates can help you maintain realistic expectations and avoid misinformation. Monitoring credible financial news sources, central bank announcements, and regulatory communications can give you a clearer picture of broader economic conditions. Understanding the global context helps you make better, more balanced decisions rather than relying solely on rumors or isolated reports. While no one can predict exact outcomes, being aware of international financial behavior allows you to approach your own plans with greater confidence and situational awareness. Before any exchange or financial conversion becomes possible, one of the most beneficial things you can do is thoroughly review and organize your personal records. Understanding exactly what you hold, including the total quantities, denominations, and any supporting documentation, not only protects you but also simplifies conversations with professionals. Good record keeping supports accurate tax reporting, assists in verifying legitimacy, and gives you peace of mind when the time comes to submit information. Keeping digital copies, physical receipts, and a clear inventory helps ensure nothing is lost or misinterpreted. As you review your holdings, consider whether any assets require authentication, valuation, or updated paperwork. Organization can also expose mistakes early, providing time to correct them before any deadlines or appointment schedules become relevant. Being prepared is not just about having assets, it is about having the clarity and documentation to use them efficiently. When you enter the process confident in your records, you reduce anxiety, prevent delays, and ensure you can respond quickly to any request from financial institutions or regulatory agencies. Ultimately, preparation is a form of protection. The clearer you are about your financial position, the more effectively you can navigate whatever opportunities or requirements arise. Above all else, investors should work hard to avoid making decisions driven by emotion. When people believe they are witnessing insider activity or hearing claims of privileged information, they may feel a surge of excitement, fear, or urgency that pushes them toward rushed choices. Emotional decision-making is one of the quickest paths to mistakes in any financial situation, especially when the environment is filled with speculation, assumptions, or incomplete details. A disciplined approach is far more valuable than reacting to every rumor or whispered update. The best strategy is calm preparation, taking the time to evaluate your plan carefully, understand your risk tolerance, review your documentation, and consult qualified professionals where needed. When investors stay grounded in long-term goals rather than short-term emotional spikes, they position themselves to make stronger, more rational decisions. This mindset also helps prevent impulsive actions such as over-concentrating assets, acting on unverified claims, or moving funds without understanding the consequences. Stability comes from clarity and commitment, not from chasing every new piece of noise in the market. Strong financial strategies are built on patience, knowledge, and steady execution, not emotional reactions to rumors or excitement. Naturally, everyone wants to know how soon public access to any major financial process might begin, whether it involves currency exchanges, regulatory changes, market shifts, or updated banking procedures. It is human nature to want a timeline, but the truth is that without official statements from verified sources, there is no confirmed schedule. Internal bank movements, technical preparations, or operational testing can indicate readiness, but they are not proof of an imminent event without guaranteed date. These processes can move quickly, or they may unfold gradually in carefully controlled stages depending on regulatory requirements, liquidity availability, policy conditions, and international financial coordination. Because outcomes are uncertain, guessing dates often leads investors to stress, impatience, or poor decision-making. Your real advantage comes from readiness, not prediction. When opportunities do open, whether routine or significant, you want to move thoughtfully with a clear plan and full understanding of your options. Acting smart is always more valuable than acting fast. Strength comes from preparation, documentation, knowledge of institutional requirements, and awareness of your own financial goals. When the moment arrives to take action, the investors who have prepared calmly will always be ahead of those who spent their time chasing rumors. To summarize everything discussed, the most responsible interpretation of internal bank activity or quiet operational changes is that institutions continually update systems, run tests, and prepare for a variety of potential scenarios. This does not confirm any specific event, but it does show that banks regularly adjust their operations to match evolving financial environments. For investors, the smartest steps remain the same: prepare your documentation, stay calm, maintain your privacy, and avoid rushing into decisions based on speculation. A phased approach to any financial action helps you maintain clarity while reducing unnecessary risk. It is far better to move strategically, confirming details with licensed financial and tax professionals, than to rely on unverified claims or dramatic rumors circulating online. Whether the financial landscape shifts quickly or slowly, those who plan ahead stay informed through reputable sources and maintain a balanced, diversified strategy will always be in the strongest long-term position. Sound financial behavior requires patience and discipline, and investors who embrace those principles are far more likely to protect their wealth and avoid unnecessary mistakes. Staying ready does not require forecasting, it requires organization and steady thinking. Before you wrap up your research or planning, it can be helpful to explore a wide range of information sources, but only those that are credible, transparent, and grounded in verifiable financial data. While many online communities and forums discuss foreign currencies, market rumors, and anecdotal reports, these spaces often include speculation, unverified claims, or opinions presented as facts. For that reason, it is essential for investors to approach such sources critically and avoid relying solely on them for financial decisions. Instead, focus on official regulatory publications, licensed financial advisors, recognized economic analyses, and established news platforms that follow journalistic standards. Those will provide clearer, more reliable insight into global economic trends, currency movements, or policy changes. Educating yourself through reputable channels strengthens your decision-making and shields you from the misinformation that often circulates in high speculation spaces. If you choose to browse community-based sites for general discussion, do so with the understanding that the information may not be vetted. Your strongest advantage will always come from combining professional guidance, personal preparation, and a well-balanced information strategy. In a financial world full of noise, discernment and caution are powerful tools. Above all, avoid emotional decision-making. Hearing about insider activity can spark excitement, fear, or urgency, but emotional choices often lead to mistakes. The best approach is calm preparation. Evaluate your plan, stick with it, and stay focused on long-term goals rather than quick reactions. Now everyone wants the same answer: how soon could public access begin? While insider movements suggest things are closer than ever before, there is no confirmed timeline. It could accelerate quickly or unfold gradually in stages. Your advantage comes from readiness, not guessing dates. When the window opens, you want to move smart, not fast. So let us wrap this up. The recent insider report regarding Chase Bank quietly initiating VIP exchanges is a strong signal of movement inside the RV process for investors. The smartest steps right now are to prepare, stay calm, stay private, plan your phases and stay informed. The shift from speculation to quiet real-world activity seems to be underway, and those who approach this strategically will be in the strongest position. Thanks for joining me. If you found this helpful, click like, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss what is coming next. A lot is happening behind the scenes, and staying ready could make all the difference. Before you go, do something simple. Go to Google and type in Dinar Opinions. Open their site. You will find the latest updates, guru reports and IQD news all in one place. It is an excellent resource, so check it out for more details. Disclaimer: the information provided here is for general informational and educational purposes only. Nothing in this content should be interpreted as financial advice, investment advice, legal advice, tax advice, or a guarantee of any future financial outcome. Currency values, market conditions and banking procedures can change without notice, and no statements in this material should be taken as evidence of insider knowledge, confirmed timelines or promised events. You should always consult with licensed financial advisors, tax professionals and legal experts before making decisions involving money investments or asset exchanges. Any actions you take based on this content are your sole responsibility. The creator of this material does not assume liability for financial losses, misunderstandings or decisions made by the viewer or reader. Always conduct your own due diligence, rely on verified and authoritative sources, and use caution when evaluating rumors, unverified claims or speculative information.